I'm Ronnie Town, daughter of retired Arizona State Senator Arthur J. Hubbard, who was also a Navajo Code Talker. I'm also a descendant of two relatives of my mother, Joseph Town and Zane Town from Chinle, Arizona. So I got a bit of a double whammy there. We thank you all for coming. And if we could please try and hold down the photographs until towards the end. We will give you plenty of opportunities for pictures. At this time, to get things started, I'd like to introduce you to our MC for today. He is Director of Tribal Affairs from Governor Hobbs' office, Jason Chavez.
Skoksiadik, Anyanyapjugik, Jason Chavez, Abamajut, Samigil Gikim, Jukukuk Jukshon, Vono Donation. Good morning. My name is Jason Chavez. I am from the San Miguel village in the Jukukuk district of the Vono Donation. And I serve as Director of Tribal Affairs for Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs. And on behalf of the Governor's Office on Tribal Relations and the Phoenix Indian Center, it is my honor to welcome you here today to the National Navajo Code Talkers Day program. Today, we recognize the brave warriors from the Navajo Nation who served their country as code talkers in the United States Marine Corps during the Second World War. President Ronald Reagan designated August 14th as National Navajo Code Talker Day. And in his proclamation, he wrote, "Equipped with the only foolproof, unbreakable code in the history of warfare, the code talkers confused the enemy with an earful of sounds never before heard by code experts. The dedication and unswerving devotion to duty shown by the men of the Navajo Nation in serving as radio code talkers in the Marine Corps during World War II should serve as a fine example for all Americans." Before we begin our program today, I would like to acknowledge some of the distinguished guests that we have with us today. Please join me in recognizing President Martin Javier from the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community. We are also joined by Mr. Elijah Ditter, Interim Medical Center Director for the Phoenix Veterans Affairs Healthcare System. Mr. Ditter. We are also joined today by some of the families of the Navajo Code Talkers. Would the Descendants please stand to be recognized? Thank you. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Alan King from Haven Health Management to offer our opening prayer. Mr. King.
Good morning. Yik'eh. Adult Shadinadan Linigi, Alan King, Nostalgian Launch is Connie Bush's team. I told you, as a Chanela. Good morning. I am a descendant of Benny Arvizo. I'm originally from Mariana Lake, New Mexico, and I'm actually also a descendant of my Che here, Thomas H. Beay. We're New Mexico Johns. But I'm honored and thankful and very, humbled this morning to be asked to do the prayer this morning, especially with everybody here who's attended, all the efforts, all the work that you do to represent not only our people, but for our communities, our organizations. And I'm pretty sure everybody's kind of curious of what I'm holding in my hand. Real quickly, I carry my corn with me all day, but this is actually my grandpa's Code Talkers patch. A few years ago, I overturned my life and started my sobriety journey, and my family found out that I was dancing again, so they gave me his patch. and said, please honor us with and the family and carry this patch with you. So I carry this with me, and I still dance with this regalia today. This is also a staff of memorabilia for me that I carry with honor as well. A lot of prayers were done with this, and I try my best to carry this name, carry our language, carry our truth, carry our people, carry our youth and our young ones today the best I can. I'm not perfect in any way, but thank you all for coming today to recognize our grandpas and our elders and our community and what this stands for. You know, this stands for many other things besides our language. It stands for survival. It stands for effort. It stands for forgiveness, forgiving the unforgivable. That's what this really stands for. So in that sense, that's how I'll pray today. And again, I thank you guys for coming in attendance. And this prayer not just only comes out from me to your family, but through your generations and the people you work with and their efforts and all the things that they do for our communities. The Creator watch over us today, watch over our families, and again, let us celebrate today in honor of our grandfathers and for all the warriors before them and all the things that they've done, especially with the efforts that they kept, with the language that they kept sacred to help us today, to thrive for us today, and to watch over our children who are descendants of this honor and descendants of this language and descendants of this stuff that they went through, Creator. Give them that passion and give them that strength that they are always remembered, that their names are always remembered at the tables and in prayer and when we dance and when we sing and when we offer our own prayers always to you, Creator. So again, watch over us as we celebrate today and have our journeys to get home safely, but also, again, to nourish our bodies and to nourish our thinking and to nourish our minds and to be subtle and to be humble, to have empathy, to have courage, to have strength, to speak up for our people, to speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Let us walk that path today, Creator, and let them see what this really means to us. So again, watch over those who are here today, watch over our veterans, watch over those who are in active service, our first responders, whether it's law enforcement or medical, everybody, our judicial system, our education system, everybody, everything that our grandfathers fought for. Watch over us today, okay? As we love you, as we all love each other, always with grace and with amens and with all the love that you have. Oh.
Sapua, thank you for those words, Mr. King. We are also joined today by another very special guest, Mr. Thomas Beay. Mr. Beay enlisted in the United States Marine Corps in 1943 and deployed as a Navajo Code Talker with the 5th Marine Division to the Pacific Islands. During the Battle of Iwo Jima, Private First Class Beay transmitted hundreds of secret messages over the radio network. Major Connor, signal officer of the 5th Marine Division at Iwo Jima, said, quote, during the first 48 hours, while we were landing and consolidating our shore positions, I had 6 Navajo radio networks operating around the clock. In that period, they sent and received over 800 messages without error. Were it not for the Navajos, the Marines would have never taken Iwo Jima and won the war. Mr. Beay was honorably discharged from the Marines as a Lance Corporal in 1946. He then served in the United States Army during the Korean War as a parachutist and gliderman. He saw combat with the 7th Infantry Division attached to the 1st Marine Division during the winter of 1950. He was honorably discharged from the Army in 1953. Among his many awards are the Presidential Unit Citation with 3 Bronze Stars, the Meritorious Unit Citation with the Korean Service Medal with 5 Bronze Stars, and in 2001, he received the Congressional Silver Medal from President George W. Bush. Upon his discharge from the military, he and his wife, Nonabot Doris Yazi Beay, moved to Gallup, New Mexico, and then to Chinle, Arizona to raise a family. They had 3 boys and 1 daughter, all of whom served in the military. Please stand if you are able and join me in a round of applause to recognize Mr. McGay for his service to our country. Please remain standing and remove any head coverings for the posting of the colors by the Ira Hayes American Legion Post number 84 and the Marine Corps League Ira Hayes Detachment 002 of Phoenix, and the singing of the national anthem by Annabelle Small Canyon, descendant of Navajo Code Talker George Willie Sr., and Kellen Little, descendant of Navajo Code Talker Arthur Hubbard Sr.
Right, face. Forward to post. Post. Present. March. Left face. Forward. March.
Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I would like to welcome Jolana Beay Kropa to the podium to offer remarks. Jolana is an enrolled member of the Navajo Nation and is originally from the community of Fort Defiance, Arizona. She is the current Chief Executive Officer for the Phoenix Indian Center, and she has a Master of Arts in Social and Philosophical Foundations of Education with an emphasis in American Indian educational policy. Her passion is supporting the urban living American Indian community, and assuring continued service is present to support the needs of her community. Jolana honorably served as the 50th Miss Navajo Nation from 2001 to 2002, and continues to advocate for language and cultural revitalization. She also teaches Navajo language classes at Arizona State University. Thank you. She has also taught for Stanford, Harvard, and Yale universities. She continually aims to ensure that the Indigenous lens are interwoven and incorporated in all aspects of her work. Please welcome Jolana Beay.
Yik'eh anokso. Adahuis ado kwa anahano yanigi Naayéé Bahe huinten ado benediction. Bedag ego eyat en hideshnido lelti benebi holjishi. Anidia shadeje ado adon enslini etrachini ensli. Nana tsanajini edashje ebashichin. Ashche edashiche ado yeiden etrachini edashanale. Do yesi dodge shike hotso naho conjugal childilia si trahtajene ade go eshiyaho ado and dashemado shije ade kedahat ahot ende eshe kode hos do de eke hasht endo shananishnaat ado amanishle akut ego is astananishle ado belaganek etche yaha Jolana Beay kropa ahot yaha shahod zen Ako she'e kwaati Phoenix Indian Center tapadi ninigi de nashnish alanje CEO nashle ahot nihiche atah sin di ebene bihol jishi ado kwaat anolto Nakhano yanigi Naayéé Bahe hinsen Bahe tanitsen di belendash nishigi Ado ashi altiso alto abelaganik eche sad lini ben hiche ishjana deshli. So greetings and good morning. I introduced myself in my beautiful Diné heritage language by properly telling you about the 4 clans that I use to identify who I am as a Diné woman. I belong to the red running into the water people, which is Trachitni, and I'm born for black streak wood people. My maternal grandfathers are the red bottom cheek, and my paternal grandfathers are the giant people of the red running into the water people clan. I come from the community of Fort Defiance, Window Rock, up on Navajo, but I've been here in the Valley for over 20 years and serve as the CEO of the amazing organization, the Phoenix Indian Center. The Indian Center is the oldest Indian center in the country, established 78 years ago in 1947 as part of the federal Indian relocation. This center continues to serve as a hub for the thousands of relatives that live here in Phoenix. We are honored and so grateful to be able to support the grassroots individuals and families that continue to put on this event here locally, recognizing that many of us can't go back up to Window Rock on August 14th. And so we're grateful for the partnerships. Several months ago, Ronnie, along with Don and Michael and the rest of the planning team, asked the Indian Center to support this effort. We willingly said, yes, we are in support. We are an organization that meets the needs of our community. So I want to recognize those families that continue to work hard to put on events like this so that we recognize our wonderful heroes. I want to say thank you to Ronnie and to Don and Michael and our internal Phoenix Indian Center team, June and Keta, for really working hard for today's event. Please know that our organization, the Phoenix Indian Center, is here to support. We are here to help. We are here in any way that we can. And so today we mark this event that they've been planning for. It's a beautiful day, a beautiful sunrise. I welcome each and every one of you. We are on the ancestral homelands of the Atah and the Pipash. However, we recognize together as Indigenous peoples, we recognize amazing events like the Navajo Code Talkers Day that remain important in our history. Collectively supported by our local tribal leaders, thank you, President Javier, for taking time to come here. This is important as we unify together. I'm grateful for the office, Governor Hobbs's office, Jason and his team, who also willingly said, yes, we will support this effort. So we're so thankful. I welcome you as the CEO of the organization. And please remember, for going forward, we want to continue to work together for things of this magnitude, things that are important, because they give us hope. There's a lot more than just the recognition itself. It brings reminders of the resiliency of our people, of our heroes, of our grandparents, our generations, some of which are no longer here, but we remember them. It gives hope for our future. I'm joined this morning by my son. He's in 6th grade and they just started school, but he begged to be here because it's important to him. It is important that he sits and sees a Navajo Code Talker. And that for me is also hope, you know, as we think about all of our future younger generation. So, akut al esad ishjana ishla dole ado na Naayéé go Yik'eh ado na bahi dan linigi e nihich andas bai be hanihi e ban hilwajon ado be atanit e dole nasko benacha alka aneja dole ado ayo ne walye e be nane katole akut al esad ishjana ishla dole Yik'eh and Twago. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jolana. The sun is starting to come up and it's starting to get a little bit warm. Please make sure that you are drinking water and taking care of yourself. There is water available in the coolers here, directly in front of me. Please make sure to help yourself throughout today's program. We'll now hear from President Martin Javier of the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community. President Javier was inaugurated president of the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community on December 15th, 2018. He previously served 3 terms as vice president from 2007 to 2018. He is proactive in the community's economic development and is currently the chairperson for the Talking Stick Golf Enterprise. President Javier also serves on the community's investment committee, Tribal Emergency Response Commission, and the Gaming Grant Committee. He also serves on the Regional Council for the Maricopa Association of Governments. Please welcome President Martin Javier.
Thank you, Jason. Yate. Good shot at Dramadoon. You know, I'm grateful on this beautiful day of freedom to stand here with all of you to acknowledge a special group of warriors who stepped up to protect their homeland of the Diné, the people. These warriors had heart and courage. They were fighting for all natives in a whole and the privileged democracy of the United States of America, its lands and citizens. It is my humble honor and privilege to recognize the Navajo Code Talkers of World War II and recognize the symbolic memorial to honor their contributions. My name is Martin Javier. I'm the current president of the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community. I was invited to give a few comments about these brave men. And I want to thank those that gave me this invitation and this opportunity to be part of this special event this morning. You know, Native Americans have served in all American wars starting from the Civil War and gave service in all wars and conflicts since then. We are thankful and proud that all our veterans, but it was the Navajo Code Talkers who were the backbone of World War II. When the Japanese were cracking every communication code that the U.S. and their allies were creating, the Japanese were causing so many devastating deaths and casualties. And the brass leadership were getting frustrated and they needed a solution. There was a white civilian whose parents were missionaries on the Navajo Nation, where he grew up and he learned fluent Navajo. His name was Philip Johnston. And he suggested to the brass leadership that the Navajo could help because their language was complex, tonal, and linguistically alien to the enemy. The language was learned by oral tradition and never written down. A few times, the suggestion was shot down, but when desperate times came, they put the Navajo on trial. They had one Navajo soldier give a message to another Navajo at a distant length. They gave the message exactly as given in 20 seconds, where complex code machines were taking 30 minutes to relay. They had a few more trials, but they proved their accuracy and worth. It all began with 29 Navajos who were tasked to develop a code, not only in Navajo, but a code within a code. An example, a tank was a tortoise, a fighter plane became a hummingbird, and an admiral became the big whale. They also developed a special alphabet that even a Navajo speaker could not figure. Navajo Code Talkers were eventually in demand for all forces: the Marines, the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy. The military recruited 400 more Code Talkers because that's how valuable they had become. Even the Japanese knew their value, and they ended up putting snipers to put hits on the Code Talkers. One Navajo soldier named Harry Sosi was captured by the Japanese and tortured badly, even with the torturous waterboarding. They were demanding the codes to be deciphered. He invoked the Navajo taboo against revealing sacred knowledge, reciting the Lord's Prayer until a rescue raid came. The unbreakable code saved America. One major said that the war could not have been won without the Navajo. After the war, Code Talkers were sworn to secrecy and couldn't even tell their families for over 30 years. Other veterans came home to take parades and celebrations, while the Code Talkers went home to the same reservation conditions without people even knowing how special they were. Because of the sworn secrecy of the Code Talkers, most were denied VA benefits and VA claims, and even went through the scrutiny of the people. We should all be grateful to all of our veterans for their sacrifice, but especially to the Navajo Code Talkers. We owe them a deep, eternal appreciation and respect. Our children and our grandchildren need to know about the Code Talkers and the sacrifice given for all the people and America. Thank you for protecting our freedom. I want to share with you, that's what I wrote for this morning. But as I sat here and I watched everybody come, and knowing and seeing Lance Corporal Beay here with us, I could not help think about the history that you read about the Code Talkers. Like other natives that served throughout all the conflicts, some of them lied about their age so that they could go and join to fight for America and for freedom. He was discharged in 1953. I feel like I'm getting old, but as I sat there, he was discharged from the Marine Corps 6 years before I was born. There are things that we have to be grateful for. I'm grateful for our veterans to come in with pride to place the flags here, the flags that the veterans fought for. And I want to give thanks. And I know we have a representative from the VA here. And I want you to know what happened is he had nothing to do with. But if you don't know, regs were changed by the current leadership of this nation. And all 22 tribal flags were taken out of our VA administrative offices, removed. You know, when we were informed that, we accepted those flags to our community because we know how important those flags are to our communities, to our veterans who went and put their lives on the line, and some paying the ultimate sacrifice to honor those flags. But I want to thank Governor Hobbs, who I know is not here, but this is the Capitol and this is her office. She took those flags, and those flags now are in our Capitol. So I want to thank Governor Hobbs for doing that for the tribes of Arizona. And I sit here, and we all have veterans that represent us in our communities. And as I sit here, I sit across from one of our veterans, Mr. Broderick Antone, who served in the U.S. Army. I also want to thank you, Mr. Antone. I want to also thank Mr. Meldon Andrews, who served in the Marine Corps, who's here. And I also want to thank community Mr. Al Charlie, a ranger of the U.S. Army, for posting our tribal flag here. It's important that we recognize our veterans. And I know it was said that they brought their children here to see how important it is. It is important. It is important for our young people to see that we honor our veterans that took time out of their lives to serve this country for the freedoms to even gather here today. Our children need to see it, that we recognize our veterans and we pay tribute to our veterans, because there's going to come a time, and if you don't see it, you should open your eyes, because conflict's going to happen, and we're going to be calling upon the next generation to serve our country, to keep the freedoms that we enjoy. So with that, I'm grateful for this opportunity to say a few words here. Say God bless to our veterans, especially our code talkers on this special day. God bless you all.
Thank you for those words, President Javier. Next, we will have a performance of the Marine Corps hymn in the Diné language by Annabelle Small Canyon, followed by the laying of the wreath by the Ira Hayes American Legion Post number 84. After the wreath is laid, there will be a 3-volley gun salute and the playing of taps. Please prepare yourself if you are sensitive to noise.
Good morning. Yik'eh bene kodosin bohos agi e kodo behast kastole. Adone en schlinige eitsit na jini na schlion to the jini bashischin as ganzo da she dot kabaha da shinale. Ado loop hol yede e ade e nikri. Ado ko Nihije ya Navajo Code Talker ko Jilinga Holjish ya the late George Boyd Willie Sr. Ikut ya Nihije Anzotza Kokode ya sin Bohos Agi be Naho Asandadle go ko be Hashtkasle. Good morning. My name is Annabelle Small Canyon. I'm the daughter of the late Navajo Code Talker, George Boyd Willie Sr. We came with my family, my sisters, my brother-in-law from Loop, Arizona, just north of or east of Flagstaff. So I'm honored this morning to share the Marine Corps hymn with you. Ne wakabi ka ana ila ta tsogon dasi kai ne bika dot ka igi ta tsogon dasi ba tsedet ani nit eya et enveni kosin Washington be akas biko silaw jiliko bahojo Nehita nat aila Gilkolko I a Diné Bizaad Nida Shija Atogon Dasiba Hak as Diné Ebikeyaji Ado Ahehashi Do Dane Dahi all United States Marines. Hojogone il dedo ana ibig Deesdlĩ. Nihik Deesdlĩ nid aden, will ye nige aden. Silal soy dodge Atah, ya ashkode dates in Washington Bay akas big o silaw o jogo kechati.
Thank you. You may be seated. Before we close today's program, I would like to invite E.J. John to the podium to share a proclamation from Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs.
Thank you, Director Chavez, and thank you all for joining us this morning. Yik'eh bine, she E.J. John Yinishia, although Tordik Ojan Nishle, do Tsenajri Bashishin, do Kapan Tashiche, although Tordik Edi Dashinele, do they Chechel Katen, Nasha, do I live here in Phoenix now, and I work for the Governor's Office on Tribal Relations. So it's good to see my fellow Tsenajris here this morning. Good to see family. So yeah, thank you for being here. It's my honor to read this proclamation on behalf of the Governor Katie Hobbs, and I'll be presenting it to our guests here. After I read it, you can go ahead, we'll stand here, pose for pictures, so you can come up and do that afterwards. Whereas, on December 8, 1941, the United States Congress declared war and entered World War II, and whereas, the United States government called upon the Navajo Nation to support the military effort by recruiting and enlisting more than 400 Navajo men to serve in standards communication units. And whereas these patriots became known as Navajo Code Talkers, who were used in every major operation involving the United States Marines in the Pacific Theater. And whereas Navajo Code Talkers gave the United States and its allies a critical advantage throughout the war, notably the victory at Iwo Jima, where they successfully transmitted more than 800 messages without error. And whereas the unbroken Navajo Code assisted in saving countless lives and hastened the end of World War II. And whereas the state of Arizona stands to recognize all Navajo Code Talkers as honorable men who have performed an important service to the preservation of freedom and democracy. And whereas Navajo Code Talkers Day was established through presidential proclamation by President Ronald Reagan on August 14, 1982. And whereas Arizona in 2014 passed legislation declaring every August 14 as Navajo Code Talkers Day in the state. And whereas Arizona established Navajo Code Talkers Day on August 14 as a legal state holiday, in March 2021. Now therefore, Governor Katie Hobbs of the state of Arizona hereby reaffirm and proclaims August 14, 2025 as Navajo Code Talkers Day.
If you'd like to come up, you're welcome to take some photos of the proclamation.
The proclamation from the governor's office of SAD.
On behalf of the Phoenix Indian Center and the Governor's Office on Tribal Relations, I want to say thank you for attending and being in community as we recognize the service and sacrifice of the Navajo Code Talkers. Before we close, we will have a prayer from Jolana Krupa Beay.
Nana, thank you to all of you for joining us for this special recognition, this special day for our warriors, our code talkers. So Deesdlĩ Shi'e Beay Diné will go ahead and close out with a prayer. And so you all pray in your own way, and I will also offer a small prayer and then song. So Kodo Jondole Shemana Hastan Yadil Shitra Ado Inda Diindin Edanohlini Ha'a Shada'a E'a Nahokons Sisna Jene Sodzil Dog Osli de Benza Diindinet Altoti a Benebi Holji to the Zenlini Beay Bench Hasti Conti Benia Qua Athasigli Nilbehozen Ado Inda Con Na Bahi Dan Ligo Con Hitch Andas Beay Beay Bahe Winzen Do Behani Benia Qua Athasigli Ashonde Nihisalalt Soe Ado Inda Big Adan Lini Bikeya has agi began has agi bedel ni dole Ado big ejigli dole nasko akut jobba inesen akut ado inda kon nasko be betrahiada hot dole altro big dan linigi the altchene betsoke altro bedel ni dole di ado kon qua Bitsin ishkliji dani glinigi kwa the nebikeya biya de kwa hosdo de kehuit any alto nihi hwan londole nihi ejigli dole nihi trahya hot dole akot so the zenlini bench hasi nihi tseje ojon dole nihi kede ojon dole nihi yage ojon dole nihi ege ojon dole nihi na git alto ojon dole inda nihi zaha ojon Ojona Haskli, Ojona Haskli, Ojona Haskli, Ojona Haskli. Na bahi shabik one londo, shabik ejigli do. Na bahi shabik one londo, shabik ejigli do. Nihich das ba, nihich das ba, nihich das ba. Na bahi shapik wanelondo, shapik ijiglito. Na bahi shapik wanelondo, shapik ijiglito. Nihich das ba, nihich das ba, nihich das ba. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you again for attending today's program. For the descendants of the Code Talkers, there are T-shirts available at the table in the back. Please make sure to check in and to receive your T-shirt. There is also some informational tables, so please make sure to get some information. Again, on behalf of the Phoenix Indian Center and the Governor's Office on Tribal Relations, thank you for being a part of today's recognition event. Thank you to our speakers, Jolana, Beay and President Javier. I would also like to thank June Shorthair and the staff at the Phoenix Indian Center, along with Rounding Town, Don Manuelito, Kevin Felix, Michael Smith, and the many other descendants and volunteers for their hard work planning and organizing today's event. To close out today's program, the Marine Corps League Ira Hayes Detachment 002 will perform the Marine Corps hymn. Thank you, and have a good day.